Well, what I'm going to talk to you might look a little unconventional, so I would like you to be with me. With every word, you must be with me. If you miss a word, then you'll probably miss the bus. All of you, including me, believe that modern medicine is scientific. Let me tell you this history. Modern medicine became a science in the 12th century when the European universities accepted modern medicine as science. From then on, it has been following the conventional science of physics, chemistry, and biology. Unfortunately, even to date, it has not changed a wee bit. And we still use the linear laws of deterministic predictability in a dynamic, non-linear, unpredictable human body. Friends, things have changed now. And with the advent of quantum physics, which has now shown that energy and matter are just but the two faces of the same coin, we have now understood the human body a lot better. It was a few years ago that Dr. Alexis Carrel, a Nobel laureate medical scientist, wrote a book called Man the Unknown, where he said, there is no science of man, full stop. Now, I have written a book called Man the Known, and I'll tell you what the medical science now believes and should believe in future as the science base of what we do to our patients, hapless patients, because patients have a lot of faith in us, and that's what's curing them. Now, come back to modern medical quantum physical concept of human body. It was Max Planck who said, consciousness is fundamental. Consciousness now is known as the universal energy, which you can call by different names. Some people call it as God, some people call it as nature. But what Max Planck calls is consciousness is fundamental, and all material is derived from consciousness. So, human body, in my concept, is immaterial. It is mental and spiritual. Spiritual doesn't mean God or religion. Spiritual simply means sharing and caring. So, the human body, as you say it, is a colony of 50 trillion individual human cells which lived for millions of years as human beings, as individuals, and they were identically living all over the place. Over the millions of years, they have come together to form a colony because of economic reasons, so that they need not work everything they need not do individually, they can do it collectively. So this colony is called the human body, where every single cell of those 50 trillion cells, they love one another so much that if you now photograph them through what's called the biophoton camera, you can see them all in sync. When you see them in sync and happy, you are healthy. When they're out of sync, you are unhealthy. So disease is an altered state of the energy pattern of the body. So we can now photograph you and get you to see whether you've got any disease. Unfortunately, in modern medicine, we still use the reductionist ideas that body is made out of heart, lung, liver, kidney, brain, etc., like a motor car. And we think if the heart is diseased, I can fix a new heart, just like a carburetor or motor car. It doesn't work that way. The whole body works together. As a matter of fact, even if I apply a bit of an ointment here, you will be surprised, the biophotons in my brain change, biophotons in my leg change, which means we are one whole. In short, the word whole is very important here, and the human body is one whole, and treatment has to be holistic, and that's what we call the future of treatment, which is now accepted in American IOM, called whole person healing. WPH is the future. Now I come back to all of us. Now, the cells in me love the cells in you, because you and I are the same energy and different parts of the same whole consciousness. We are bits of individual consciousness. And this follows the Indian philosophy of Sankhya, where if you take a bit from the whole remains a whole, the bit becomes a whole. And this is the concept, and you will be surprised, there's now a mathematical calculation for this, a beautiful mathematical formula, which is very difficult even for great mathematicians to unravel. And it simply says that my cells love your cells. Now, supposing I hate you, let us say, I want to destroy you, I hate you. Then what happens is these cells get confused, and if I hate you, my own cells hate my own body, and I get disease. We didn't know why one gets disease. We only knew in linear mathematics how one gets disease. Today, with quantum physics, we can say, why do you get a disease? I've written an article which you can read this on the internet. It's called grudgitis. You heard about appendicitis, you heard about pancreatitis, you heard about tonsillitis, but this is grudgitis. When you grudge others, you want to hate someone. Friends, it is a mind that destroys you. It's the mind that really keeps you going. Now what happens with this sort of a thing is, when once you love another human being, that's what is called spirituality. Spirituality simply means sharing and caring. When I love others, want to share with others, my health improves. That's exactly what Ayurveda said. Aptopasevi bhavet arogyam. If you treat everyone as your near and dear ones, you will be healthy. Now I'll tell you how you get an illness. And when you get an illness, how do you react to the illness? Now when an illness comes, let us say, our concept is, oh, this disease has come. You want to hate the disease? No, no. It's your friend. It has just come with an altered energy, and you've got to love it, you've got to accept it, and then it probably gets healed. Most of us think it is the doctor who cures me, or the doctor who operates. I will ask a simple question to any doctor who says he cures. I want a doctor, the best doctor in India, to do a heart transplant on a dead body, and I want that to heal. A heart transplant, even if the best doctor does it, heals only when the man is alive. And that is through what is called the immune system. Thank God, God has given us an immune system. Otherwise, our cells love so much that when once you come into this room, all of us would have been one syncytium, one mass of cells. We wouldn't have gone out individually. Individually, we look because of the individual immune systems. But it's only a Maya. What we see in this world is Maya, which the German scientist who found out E is equal to M, Hans-Peter Duke, calls as Wirklichkeit. Wirklichkeit in German means a drama, a changing drama. Suppose I see all of you here. And when I close my eyes, you're not there. So whether you're there or not is only not a reality, but it's a myth. Now this is the concept. If you understand, you can understand this is better. Now when you come to the cell, individual cell, as you see here, this is an individual. Whole individual is this cell. It can do everything that you do. It can breathe, it can understand, it can think, it can eat, it can excrete, everything it does. Now when they come together, they become a body and they do all this together. But over there they found, instead of everybody doing everything, let some people do certain works. So they had different kinds of cells which look different by in shape, but they all work together. So cells in the liver do something which is a metabolic thing, it's a chemistry factory. The heart, it's just a pumping machine or a machine which gives a twist to the blood flow. Or the brain, which coordinates the whole body. So there are different kinds of cells, but the working is the same. Even a cancer cell, I'm stressing on this, even a cancer cell works exactly like a normal cell. So cancer is not a disease, cancer is a repair mechanism which has lost its aim, when to stop. Supposing I get a cut, my cut will be, there will be a scar there. Scar is the beginning of a cancer. Supposing that scar overgrows, it becomes a cancer. So all the cells work alike. Now, like if you see the cell wall, this is the most important part of the cell. When the cell, this is a cell wall, individual cell wall, which is a bilipid layer. You see those two rows of the fresh limes, they are all the lipid layers. Now, so much so this doesn't allow anything to go into the cell or come out of the cell. But there are those parts, the red thing called transmembrane protein, which is a channel to go in and out. And above that, you have the antenna to connect with the outside. Now, you are born on the day your mother's ovum meets your father's spermatozoon, and you become one protein speck, one cell, which is called the zygote. And that cell, its antenna, gets the connection from the universal consciousness. And you know, the man who was studying this was an atheist. And he was studying this, and he found suddenly, oh, this has become now live. And when you die, the consciousness just leaves you, and you die. So much so he described human life as a television picture. You switch on the television, Lata Mangeshkar or the Hema Malini is dancing. Now, after some time you get fed up with the dance, you switch it off, Hema Malini is dead. Now, if you go to the dining room when your wife calls, and there she is putting on the television, Hema Malini is dancing there. So human being is like that. When you are born like the television screen, I am like the television screen, I am dancing here. But when I die, I disappear. But I am not in the television screen. Remember that? What is in the television screen is the energy. So we are all energy, and we are immaterial, and that energy is the most important thing. And that's what the cell wall does. But the cell wall is a connection. And the connection shows how you can connect with the world. And the cell wall connection is the ligand, which connects you with anything that you want. And that's where our whole universe connects with us through that ligand. And if you get disconnected from there, you probably die off. Now, future treatment of diseases, future therapeutics is not with chemicals. Because these chemicals that we put into the system, whatever be it, it's maybe aspirin to statin, the chemicals are reductionist molecules. which work chemistry-wise as dextrorotatory molecules, where the human molecules work levorotatory. So it's a square plug in a round hole. So each time you take a medicine, irrespective of what medicine it is, the body says it is something outside, it's a poison. So the medicine is sent to the liver. So the liver tries to destroy it to the extent possible. Now, what remains after the liver destroys comes out, which we teach our students as a first pass effect. After it passes through the liver, what comes out? And that's what we think affects. But in the bargain, every single medicine that we have put in, damages the liver. So it's no surprise that today's audit has shown, especially in the United States of America, because we don't have audit in India, that the leading cause of death, one of the leading causes of death is adverse drug reactions, ADR. Coming back to the future treatment is only through energy. And there are various kinds of energy treatments which our ancestors used to do. A lot of occult energies are being used, like pranic healing, Reiki, pranayama, yoga, etc., etc. But we have been working on the known three energies: electromagnetic energy, nuclear energy, and probably gravitational energy in some way. And this we have been doing for the last about 15 years. And we have got an organization called the World Academy of Authentic Healing Sciences, where I've got 15 scientists working with me. Now, this is the photograph of the energy pattern. This is the thing that we're working on. Water, for example, homeopathic medicines. This is water structure that is gone. The water structure is something which is very fascinating. It's got loose bonds. And any medicine you put into water, a drop of a medicine you put into water, when it gets into the loose bond, the water structure changes. After that, if you dilute it even 1,000,000 times, the structure is changed. And that structure has got the energy, and that treats. Now, this water structure, we use that water structure and also use some simple silver nanoparticles in that. And when the silver nanoparticles get into that, the water becomes absolutely germicidal. Nothing grows in that. And we wanted to see how a salamander in your house, when you cut its tail, the tail grows. If you cut your tail, it won't grow. So we wanted to see whether it grows, and we did it. This was a boy who cut his finger. And this finger was caught in the machine, and the finger got completely cut off. There's no finger left. So what did we do? We didn't touch it. We just covered it with a silver mesh that I showed you and gave a little current to change the polarity. And as you see, 3 days later, the finger becomes, 3 days later, the finger became, the finger became cleaner and clearer. 3 days later, the finger became, almost after 1 month, the finger became normal. And if you want to know what the finger was like, before, that's where the finger was, and that's where the finger today is. So we have now been using it for various other things. Like, for example, when a policeman in Chennai came with this big bag of pus with his diabetic foot, the doctors wanted to cut off the foot. But this man refused, because he said, if you cut off the foot, next life I will not have a foot at all. So he wanted to do something or die. So we cleaned the whole thing and put our energy machine into it. Next slide. And you see, after 3 months, he has got a normal foot. And here is another lady of mine who has got a blood pressure of 240 by 140, and she had a block in this vessel here. Whole aorta was blocked below the kidney. You can see there's no runoff at all. And the kidneys were so small. So I put the machine there. It's just like a cell phone. And 3 months later, what you see is lot of new vessels have grown. The kidneys have become normal. Her blood pressure came down to 120 by 80, and she is very happy. She's walking about. Now, we have been doing this for various things. Starting from cancer to common cold, you can use energy, and we are refining it. Our job is to authenticate simple healing methods in any system, be it Ayurveda, homeopathy, or any system for that matter, because all systems simply means something that you help the patient to heal. And who heals? The patient himself heals. Why he heals that? His body naturally has to heal. I'll give you an example. Man gets a heart attack, God forbid. Now what happens is, at the center of the heart attack, the cells die. The minute the cells die, if nobody does anything and no doctor interferes, the neighboring cells say, oh my God, my friend has died. They love one another so much. They slip out and come there and occupy. There's a second stage. Cell death is stage 1. The second stage is cell slipping. When the cell slips out, there's a mother holding the cell, which is cement, which we call as collagen. The mother says, where has my son gone? And the mother knows, my son would never go for anything other than helping others. He must have gone to help somebody. I will also help him. So it produces more collagen. So fibroblastic proliferation. You got a very strong scar. Now the cells far away, they can't do that. They feel bad. I have not done anything. So they say, okay, let me become stronger. So they become hypertrophied. 4 things happen: cell death, cell slipping, fibroblastic proliferation, and hypertrophy. These 4 things, what is called remodel the whole heart. So if you get a heart attack, and if you're lucky not to die, because 60% of people who get a heart attack don't even get to see next second, they die. The remaining 40% bakras only we do all kinds of things. But even those, by chance, they don't come to the hospital and still survive, they probably get a beautiful heart. A study in Bristol and Sheffield showed that heart attack patients with good risk, which means heart attack patients who have no pain and who are alive, are better off left at home than taken to the hospital and then looked after, because mortality is much better left at home. Now this is because the body heals itself. And this healing is a process which can be helped by our lifestyle. So the future must be for wellness lifestyle, which Ayurveda says, swasthasya swastha rakshitam. Preserve the health of the well. And this is what I call as a wellness concept, which requires simple things. One, most important thing is the mind. The mind filled with universal compassion. Mind without negative feelings, no hatred, no jealousy, no greed, no pride, no anger. Because you don't have to be pride, because for every cell in your body, you have 9 cells which are germ cells, not your cells, because germs are a part of us. So how can you say, I am somebody, I am nobody. Even to say I must get 9 germ cells permission for 1 cell of mine. So once you know that, you become so humble. And humility in Indian concept is the virtue of education. And humility is a health-giving thing. So if you're humble and genuinely compassionate, you will be very healthy. Next thing is, eat in moderation. Whatever you want to eat in very, very less, and then every day have some exercise. And do something for others. This is the most important thing. Kshamavan aptopasevi bhavet arogyam. And data, be a giver. Human body is not a machine made out of different parts. Human body is a colony of happy 50 trillion cells with 2.5 trillion germs, of all kinds of germs. So friends, it's very simple. Again, healthy living is simple living, high thinking, loving others, and trying to do something for society. Thank you very much.
What's been very exciting to me in the past 3.5, 4 years of observing magnetic resonance stimulation in my clinic and with patients who've taken this technology home is the power of this technology to transform the function of the cell. It's been very exciting. Just seeing changed lives through the power of cellular resonance. The IMRS signals all 75 trillion cells of the body at the same time, at the speed of light, at the frequency of health. It's amazing. Everybody knows that you need water for good health. The better the water, the better your health. We need food. We need oxygen, preferably pure and clean oxygen. But most people don't know that in order to live and for life to be possible on this planet, we need the Earth's magnetic field. The IMRS provides that electromagnetism. The human body is driven by the nervous system. The nervous system conducts electrical current. Around every electrical current there is a magnetic field. That's Ampere's law. It's an incontrovertible law of nature. If you have an electrical current, you have electromagnetism. Therefore, electromagnetism is the fundamental native energy of the human body. And here we are able to signal all of those cells with that power of nature. The Earth's magnetic field ranges between 7 and 12 hertz. The IMRS is specifically designed to replace that missing energy. Why is it missing? It's missing because we go to and from work in a car, surrounded by metal with an iron frame on concrete. We get to our office, or we get to our meeting, or our coffee clutch, or whatever we're doing, and we're surrounded by building material. We're surrounded by concrete. We do not have access to the Earth's magnetic field. Long gone are the days when we were roaming around in the Earth's magnetic field, hunting and gathering and being in nature. That's why the beach feels so good. That's why laying down on a picnic blanket for more than 5 minutes feels so awesome. It's because we're in the field. People love to hike, they love to fly fish, they love to be out in nature. And the hidden reason why that most people don't know about is because of the Earth's magnetic field. Again, the IMRS is designed to reproduce that and to resupply something that's vital to life and wellness and health, but it's missing. A new feature of the IMRS is called iMore technology, interactive monitoring and regulation. And what that means is we have the ability with the IMRS to monitor heart rate variability. Not just heart rate, but heart rate variability. This parameter of human health is one of the major predictors of early or sudden cardiac death. The IMRS, by talking to the body, by monitoring your heart rate variability, actually dynamically resets itself so that you have the ability then to, using these electromagnetic fields, to enhance your heart rate variability. Every session you do in home has the ability to maximize your body's ability to be well and to stay well and to live a longer life. The IMRS has built-in intelligence in preset protocols that allow you to just simply dial in a setting based on a particular result that you desire. It's all been automatically programmed. This is the easiest, most simple wellness device of its kind in the world. You just punch in a number, and based on your preference and what your desired result is, those settings have already been pre-programmed so that you have wellness literally at your fingertips in one or two presses of a button. Just this morning I was reading a study, a randomized clinical trial that was performed using magnetic resonance stimulation technology on a group of people, 56 patients actually had fibromyalgia. And on 5 out of 6 scales of wellness, pain relief, and bodily function, this randomized controlled clinical trial showed that magnetic resonance stimulation was a very, very viable tool in enhancing the life, the quality of life, and the pain measures, etc., in this group of people. In fact, fibromyalgia is known by some parts of Japan not as fibromyalgia, but as magnetic field deficiency syndrome. So think about that. It's people who are actually recognizing a lack of exposure of the human body to the Earth's natural wellness-producing magnetic field. And what we're doing is we're actually resupplying that. And in this particular group of people who suffer daily, who are often using a chemical solution for an electromagnetic problem, by resupplying this energy, we're able to observe, even in a scientific study, a well-controlled study, massive, major changes, significant changes. The interesting thing to me about this study is that they only used the MRS twice a day for 3 weeks. The study went on for a total of 12 weeks, and they remeasured the results of people even 12 weeks later, 9 weeks after they had stopped using the MRS 2000. And the IMRS is the same technology. These people used this technology and had a long-lasting benefit even after they stopped using this technology. So it's an amazing study, wonderful. As Wolfgang mentioned, electrosmog is now a major pollutant in our environment. 150 years ago, it didn't exist. Now, electrosmog is actually giving birth to a new category of syndromes called electromagnetic hypersensitivity syndrome. Right now, 3% of everyone in the North American population suffers with this to a severe degree. 37% of people suffer this to a mild degree. And by 2017, it's estimated that 50% of our population will suffer symptoms directly related to exposure to high-frequency man-made electromagnetic fields. So just as there are good bacteria and bad bacteria, good bacteria lining our intestines and helping us to digest and function properly, there is such a thing as good electromagnetism and bad electromagnetism. Who had a cell phone 15, 20 years ago? Now we give cell phones to our children for their 8th birthday. They're texting over and over. The average female texts over 4,000 times a month in this country, studies have shown. And the rate of illness and impaired learning ability due to exposure to high-frequency Wi-Fi and Bluetooth and high-power electrical lines, the evidence is mounting. Even in the August 2009 issue of Pathophysiology, there's PhD after PhD after PhD reporting that man-made high-frequency electrosmog is producing illness in our society. The MRS is the antidote, or can be the antidote. Again, it's not a therapeutic device, it's a wellness device. It's not designed to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or illness, but it's actually resupplying the body with the energy it needs at the precise frequencies and intensities it needs to help combat this ubiquitous, unseen, unsmelled form of pollution that we call electrosmog.
Is modern medicine killing you or saving you? The very idea that we should have to ask that kind of question is so upsetting to me as a doctor. I was called to medicine the way many are called to the priesthood, as a sort of spiritual calling. My whole goal is to help you heal, not to harm you. And yet, when you look at the causes of death, preventable medical error is the number 3 cause of death according to the Center for Disease Control and the Institute of Medicine. And it's not just medical error, it's the whole nature of our pill-popping medical culture that's been adopted by patients and doctors alike. Now, we know, according to the Center for Disease Control, that 90% of doctors' visits are the result of stress. And yet, as a doctor, I wasn't taught to help you deal with your stress. I was programmed to believe that it was my job to medicate you or to operate on you so that you could go back to the status quo of your stressful life. And yet I've started to rethink that in the research that I've been doing lately. And what I've come to realize is that as doctors, it is our job to help you address the fact that stress is one of the biggest killers among us. And that maybe instead of medicating you or operating you solely, maybe we need to help you address the issues that might be predisposing you to illness or exacerbating your illness, like the toxic relationships in your life, or a soul-sucking job that's draining your life force. Or financial worries, or social isolation and loneliness, or a pessimistic worldview. All of these things have been scientifically proven to predispose you to illness. And yet, when was the last time your doctor suggested that? Our healthcare system is so broken because we are in the business of symptom relief, not symptom prevention. Dr. Andrew Weil says we have a disease management system, not a healthcare system. And we're blind to this. We're sort of turning a blind eye to this, I think, because we think chronic stress is just an inevitable part of life. It's just how we have to live. And as doctors and patients, we are turning a blind eye to this because it's too hard to face. We don't want to realize what it would take in order to alleviate our stress, to predispose us to longer, healthier lives. So we've made this collective agreement that I won't talk about it and you won't talk about it. You know stress is bad for your health. As a doctor, I know how many of my patients are showing up in my office because of the stress in their lives, and yet we've sort of agreed not to talk about it. But I'm here to illuminate that for us, because the idea that medicine could be killing us is just anathema to me. I can't live with that, because I have a dream of a healed healthcare system, one in which we bring the best of modern medicine, everything that we've learned about pharmaceuticals and surgical interventions and such, and we marry it with what it means to be a true healer, what I was called to do as a doctor, where not only am I putting a Band-Aid on the symptoms that are the result of your stress, but I'm also putting a soul back in you. This soul medicine, I think, is so much of what we've lost in modern medicine today. I dream of being able to replace that, of reclaiming the heart of medicine, and of reminding you what it means to be a whole, healthy human being. This is essential because our current healthcare system just isn't working. We all know it, doctors and patients alike. Yeah, it's broken, people. This is breaking my heart, because when you look at the data, we spend more on healthcare than any other country in the world, and yet 32 countries have longer life expectancies than we do. Patient dissatisfaction is rising. 90% of hospital patients didn't even know the name of their doctor at the time of discharge. It's not just doctors, it's not just patients that are dissatisfied. Doctors are just as dissatisfied. 9 out of 10 doctors would not recommend becoming a doctor. And 70% of Americans take at least one prescription drug. 20% take 5 or more. So I want to show you something here. These pill bottles have a month's worth of medication in them. And I'm going to show you, there's approximately 500 of you here. I'm going to show you how much medication it takes to medicate all of you for just one day, based on these statistics. Now, we've been trained in our system to think about medicine the way a doctor would think about a football player in a football game. You know, the football player gets injured, so we bring the injured football player out of the game and we fix the ankle, and we set the bone, or we inject the joint, and we do everything we can to send the football player back out into the game. But what a lot of people aren't talking about is perhaps the best thing for the football player is to get the football player out of the game. Right? And yet, it's not just the doctor's fault. What do we do when the star football player says, "Doc, just do anything. Do anything you can to get me back in the game so we can win the Super Bowl"? That's what many of you as patients are doing. You are asking us as doctors to fill you with pills so that you can go back to the game of your stressful life. And I'm here because it's breaking my heart that we're having to do that. And I want to change the game. I want to suggest that maybe there's a different way of doing this. So I wrote a book called Mind Over Medicine, Scientific Proof That You Can Heal Yourself. And it's all about the scientific data that proves how stress affects our bodies. And this was really revolutionary to me as a doctor. I didn't know anything about this 4 or 5 years ago. And it was shocking to me to study the data, because what I came to realize is that stress is not what we think stress is. You know, I think in this culture we have this concept that stress is like a badge of honor. I'm stressed, therefore I'm busy and worthy and important. But to the body, stress is very different. Stress is anything that triggers the amygdala in your brain to turn on what Walter Cannon at Harvard called the stress response, also known as the fight or flight response. So anything that turns on your fight or flight response puts you into the sympathetic nervous system and fills your body with cortisol and epinephrine and other very poisonous stress hormones. Now, this is good if you're getting chased by a tiger or if you're about to be in a car accident, because it helps to protect your life. But your amygdala doesn't know the difference between getting chased by a tiger and negative thoughts, beliefs, and feelings that originate in your mind that turn on those stress responses. Now, what I didn't realize, and this was my big aha, is that the nervous system has 2 operating systems. There's the fight or flight stress response, sympathetic nervous system, and there's the parasympathetic nervous system, or what Herbert Benson at Harvard called the relaxation response. And this was my big epiphany. Your body is beautifully equipped with natural self-repair mechanisms. Your body knows how to fight cancer, how to prevent heart disease, how to fight off infection. It does this every day. But those natural self-repair mechanisms are deactivated every time your body's in stress response. Now, what is stress? Stress, as I said, is getting chased by a tiger. But stress is also social isolation and loneliness. Stress is selling your soul for a paycheck. Stress is a pessimistic worldview. Stress is fearful, anxious, worried thoughts. Stress is toxic relationships. Stress is money worries. Stress is knowing that you have a song within you that you have yet to sing. Stress is feeling out of touch with your life's purpose. Stress is negative beliefs about your health. Stress is overwhelm. Stress is feeling like nobody really gets the real you. Stress is pretending to be something that you're not. Stress is feeling disconnected from source. On average, we have more than 50 stress responses per day in modern culture. And every time the body is in stress response, your body's natural self-repair mechanisms are disabled. And what kills me about this is that as doctors, by not acknowledging that, by not helping you recognize that, by not identifying with you what might be activating those stress responses in your body, we might be doing the unthinkable. We might actually be killing you. We might be reducing your life expectancy, the quality of your life and your whole lifespan, and that is not okay. What we need to reclaim is we need to reclaim the soul medicine that medicine used to have. You know, several hundred years ago, we were much better at the soul medicine part of this. We think that chronic stress is an inevitable part of our lives, but we can learn from what scientists call blue zones around the world, these parts of the world where people have a greater than average percentage of people who live to be over 100. These people know what soul medicine is. So what is the medicine that we really need? Medicine is being loved just as you are. Medicine is helping those in need. Medicine is expressing your creative genius. Medicine is always seeing the glass half full. Medicine is the unconditional love of animals. Medicine is laughing out loud. Medicine is speaking your truth. Medicine is knowing that you belong. Medicine is communing with nature. Medicine is nourishing the body with real food. Medicine is tapping into source. Medicine is being unapologetically you. Woohoo! Yeah. I'm not suggesting that you won't need other medicine. Thank God for modern medicine. Thank God for modern medicine. Yeah. Over the past century, we extended our life expectancies by 30 years. 30 years. That's remarkable because of the advent of things like antibiotics and vaccinations and remarkable advances in pharmaceuticals and surgical interventions. Thank God for modern medicine. My husband cut 2 fingers off his left hand with a table saw. Yeah, so thank God for Dr. Jones, who spent 8 hours in surgery with a microscope, putting those fingers back on so that my husband has 10 fingers today. And my 42-year-old friend just had a stroke. Thank God for TPA, the clot buster, so that several days later he was discharged from the hospital with almost no residual deficits. I'm not suggesting that we should throw the baby out with the bathwater. But what I am suggesting is that those remarkable advances that we've made in modern medicine, we've taken the biochemical approach to medicine too far, and we've forgotten what it means to be true healers. And this breaks my heart. Now, I know that what I'm saying here, that you need to look at the stress in your life and that you need to get the medicine that you really need. I know that this isn't what many of you want to hear. And honestly, I was having a meltdown on the plane yesterday coming out here. Because I was thinking, I don't want people to misunderstand me. And this is, don't kill the messenger. It's not easy to look at these parts of your life. I was thinking about this woman, Katie Smith, who I met on my book tour. And she's a young mother with brain cancer. And she just had surgery yesterday. And I'm thinking about this talk, and I'm thinking, I don't ever want Katie to think that I'm blaming her for her brain cancer. I'm not. I'm praying for Katie. And I think about my doctor, Kim, who's one of the best doctors that I know, and I know it hurts her when I criticize medicine. If I even suggest that medicine might be killing us, this breaks her heart. She has a planet-sized heart, and her intentions are so pure. And I think about Susan Matheson, who's one of the organizers here. Susan's one of the doctors in a program that I'm leading called the Whole Health Medicine Institute, where we're teaching doctors to practice this kind of medicine. These are some of the most amazing doctors on the planet. I'm not trying to throw them under the bus. What I'm saying is that, I was thinking about this and I thought, this is my tough love TEDx talk. I'm saying this because I love my profession so much that it breaks my heart what has become of us. And I love each of you so much that I can't bear to see you squander even one more day of this beautiful life that you have the opportunity to live. And I don't want to see you accepting chronic stress as a natural part of our lives. We don't have to live this way, because life can be so beautiful. I mean, imagine this. Every morning you wake up and you're so excited about all the possibilities that lie ahead, because anything could happen. And you're surrounded by people who love and know the real you, not the masks that you put on to try to fit in, but the real you underneath. And you're living your purpose. You're finding and fulfilling your calling. You're expressing the divine spark within you. And because you are, the bills are paid, because the universe takes care of those who are living in alignment with their divine nature. You laugh often. You love often. You get laid often. Yeah, these things are good for your health. All of these things, you guys like that. I should talk about sex more. All of those things have been scientifically proven to reduce stress responses in the body and activate relaxation responses and help your body's natural self-repair mechanisms heal you. And that's what I want for you. Now, I know this is hard because I'm not just a doctor, I'm a patient. By the time I was 33 years old, I was taking 7 medications in order to stay in the game in my life. And I had such a stressful life. But I was told that those 7 medications were going to be something that I was going to have to take for the rest of my life. And I was a doctor. My doctor professors were telling me this, so I believed them. I didn't realize that what I had to do, the medicine I really needed, was to get out of the game of my life. And when I realized what I was going to have to do, I was terrified, because it meant I had to leave my abusive marriage. And it meant I had to quit my job in medicine. And I spent 12 years training to do this work. And it meant I had to take my entire life savings and invest it in following a dream so that I could be here talking to you about things like this today. And I'm now down to half the dose of one of my medications. And this is possible for you. I would love to be able to tell you how you can have this for yourself, but unfortunately, you're going to have to write the prescription for yourself. But what I can offer is one question that I've asked many patients that has helped many people heal, and it's this: what does your body need in order to heal? Now, I know that the answer that may come up can be very frightening, and change is so scary, and uncertainty can be paralyzing. But what I've discovered on my own personal journey is that the flip side of uncertainty is the possibility of anything being able to happen. So I've discovered that if you want big miracles, you have to take big risks. And if you're looking for smaller risks, you have to be willing to accept smaller miracles. And it's okay if you're not ready to take those risks. But I encourage you to do whatever you need to do in order to give your body the medicine that it really needs. So I ask this of you. We are in this together. I have a dream of healing healthcare. And it's going to take a grassroots effort, you and me together. And I'm going to have to do this with all of you, empowered patients and conscious healthcare providers, uniting together to reclaim what is rightfully ours. And I want to close with a question that Mary Oliver poses. Tell me, what is it you plan to do with your one wild and precious life? Let yourself give yourself the medicine that you really need. Thank you.
Yes, hello everybody, and we are proud to welcome India as a member of our global company, of our global family, Mediconsult International. We had the honor to have a guest here in our wonderful Intelligent Wellness Lounge here in Switzerland, Mr. Sandeep Goswami, who approached us to market our products in India. We invited him, and we did some tough negotiations over 5 days, and we finally agreed to a common partnership. So a big step is ahead of us, because we're going to open India now with our exciting products, especially products out of the field of energy medicine, pulsed electromagnetic fields. And I'm even more thrilled because Mr. Goswami is already experienced in that. Since about 3.5 years, he's dealing with PMF devices. And by doing further research, he found our systems. We are the global market leader in this field. I founded the company and developed the system since 20 years now. And we are already set up in 21 countries, and now the 22nd countries will be India. Yeah. And I'm looking forward to explore new culture, meeting new peoples, and because this is exactly what it's all about. You know, once in a lifetime, you have to make the best out of it, and what is better than to exploring new cultures? So I'm very honored that we are able to set up a company soon, a subsidiary in India, MediConsult India, and we're diligently working on that. Within the next probably 2 months, we will be able to set everything up and to provide you with our products and also our business opportunity, which is quite different from all the other business opportunities you probably already know. And once we set up the information and you have the chance to take a closer look into that, you will probably be the same meaning than I, that we can develop a great business together. So the PMF field is quite undeveloped worldwide, and within the last 5 to 6 years we hear more about this wonderful technology. It's actually based on alternative complementary medicine. Most of the classical medical authorities are even not aware of the incredible health benefits which we can provide with PMF devices. However, the world of health and wellness is changing, so people become more educated due to new communication platforms like the internet. We have access to much more information in different countries, in different languages, which gives us a total new approach of how we deal with health and diseases in the future. We want to be the trendsetter, the market leader, and the technology leader in this business for the next 20, 30 years, and we would like to develop a global business. And of course, India is one of the most exciting and most fastest growing markets in the world, and it would be just, I think, a big mistake not to approach this market and not to provide the wonderful Indian people with all these kind of technologies which we can offer. So, in regards to PMF, we know that there is a lot of electrosmog around us. Maybe you heard that, and the interesting thing about electrosmog is electrosmog doesn't speak a language. So wherever you are, you have the same problem. Doesn't matter whether it's India, it's Europe, it's Switzerland, it's North America. So we have a common problem. The good thing is we can fight this problem with one language, and this language is called energy. So with high-tech devices and with devices where we learn from nature and put this into high technology, we can provide people with a lot of interesting, high-efficient modalities out of the field of energy medicine, and that's exactly the approach of MediConsult. We are a bionic company, so that means we look into nature, what nature does good, we try to put it into a high-tech device, and then we provide it to the people. So that's what it is, and PMF is such an exciting field, so that it is absolutely worth and necessary to look deeper into it and at least try one of these technologies to feel the incredible benefits which we can gain with this kind of technology. So we also provide a business concept like concepts like, for example, the Intelligent Wellness Lounge, which is also already set up in India with the NewAge Foundation. They do a smart thing, in my opinion, because they open these kind of lounges to make the technology available for people before buying it. So, that's the system which is called try before buy. Mm-hmm. So experience it once, twice, 3 times, however you think it's necessary. And once you feel the health benefits, maybe you think about, placing it in the comfort of your home and benefit from it every day. I mean, I'm using PMF devices caused by an incident about almost 20 years ago where I suffered from cancer. And I went through the whole classical medical process, and after that I realized I need to take, things into my hand and, you know, become proactive to fight against another attack from this cancer. And that's actually how I got involved in PMF devices, because I felt myself the benefits, and that was actually even the reason for me to start this business, because it's such a helpful, such an efficient technology for good health.
In Santa Fe, New Mexico for the last 18 years, and I treat all people. I treat children, I treat women, I treat people from all ages. I also treat people in terms of fertility issues, and probably sports medicine is my absolute favorite area of medicine, but I treat it all. I'm also the founder of a healing center. It's called Santa Fe Soul, and we are a community of 25 independent practitioners, and we offer at least 40 pathways to wellness. I first heard about magnetic resonance stimulation and the MRS 2000 September of last year when I picked up Dr. John Gray, the author, at the airport, and I was so excited to meet this man and have this wonderful hour with him on our drive back to Santa Fe. And within no time of being in the car, he started talking about this device, this technology that he thinks is revolutionary. And it's this magnetic resonance stimulation. And he was like, Robin, you have a center. You need to get 9 or 10 of these. You need to be using these on all your patients. This is unbelievable, and how it helps to heal the body on a cellular level. And so he literally, the whole ride back to Santa Fe was John talking about his own experience. He had a really bad infection in his, a tooth infection, and he could not believe that an 8-minute application with a probe, which is one of the 3 applications of the MRS 2000, it completely took away his jaw pain. I mean, he was just in awe of that. And even, I was really pretty frank with Dr. Gray. I said, you know, I've been in practice for all these years, and, you know, quite frankly, I see everything you can imagine every day. I know there's something new that's out there that people are bringing to my attention to bring to my center. And I just told him, I said, you know, I'm really not that interested. And I think he was pretty shocked by my comment, but I said, I'm just not interested. So it took a couple of months, you know, he kept in touch and said, Robin, you need to try this. I too, you know, he is exposed to everything, but he said, this really works. We really need this when we think of some of these health challenges that we're experiencing now in the 21st century that we never even heard of, even 10 or 20 years ago. This is foundational to one's health, so consider it. So about a couple months later, I did buy my first MRS 2000. I happened to be out of the country at the time, and my staff just literally looked at the box, didn't know what to do, and I said, you know, let's just try it. Let's try it. And so immediately, once I returned, I was in Bhutan. When I returned, I had some pretty severe jet lag, and I thought, wow, there's something to this. This is pretty, there's something to it. It's subtle, but I'll give it a try. So I decided for the first 2 weeks, when I first got the MRS 2000, to give it to every single patient that was interested, and along with my acupuncture. So they actually received an 8-minute or a 16-minute session on the MRS while they're receiving acupuncture simultaneously. And the results were amazing. I mean, people felt like they have never been so relaxed getting an acupuncture treatment, or their pain went away immediately. The greatest, I would actually call it a miracle that has happened for me in terms of my using the MRS, which happened pretty much after 11 days, consistent days of using it, was I've had pretty much a 25-year history with severe sleep problems, pretty much all my life. I'm now 44. After using the MRS at least twice a day, I noticed that I was sleeping, and I thought, well, there's days that I've gone a couple days or a week here and there, but ever since then, so that was December of last year, ever since then, 85% of the time I sleep. So this goes from a severe insomniac to someone who, it's been life-changing. For a whole year, I've been able to sleep. And there's much to be said for that. I mean, it's been life-changing in terms of just having energy to now run. This is the second thing. I'm a marathon runner. I've run 12 marathons now. And I pretty much retired a couple years ago because when I would work out, probably a lot of this is due to not getting adequate sleep, that I would produce a lot of lactic acid. My body would hurt. I'd feel like I was, 70 years old. And what happened with using the MRS, just using it again 8 minutes twice a day, that my body, because of the increased circulation and the increased oxygenation to my cells, that my body would rejuvenate, would regenerate much more quickly. So I actually ran my first marathon in several years this past May, and it's all due to the MRS technology. As soon as I finished that marathon, I was on it for 24 minutes, and the next day I'm like, I've never felt this good after running a marathon. So this is also just to mention in this area that they're doing studies on 4,000 European athletes right now, and many of them, they call the MRS 2000 their #1 vitamin, because they do it before they work out, they do it afterwards, they do it before performance, and have seen dramatic improvements in their overall, not only their conditioning, but in terms of their performance. We give every single person their first session is for free. But I would love to see more centers, more community centers and healing centers around the world bring in this technology, because every single one of us needs to be more connected to the earth frequencies. When that happens, a wonderful cascade of healing responses happen in the body, especially when we're immersed in this field on a regular basis. Not only has it been good for many of us the practitioners, just the whole energy of the center, in terms of having that healthy frequency in our healing center on a regular basis. I can tell that it's just changed just the dynamic. And it's also nice that when people come in, they might be coming in for, let's say, a massage, and they have a really bad trauma to their finger, that we can say, hey, we've got this technology. So we introduce it to just about everybody who walks in the door. We do rent them. Right now, like as of Thanksgiving Day, we had all 9 of ours rented out, and we've had a waiting list. That's how popular it is. We have sold at least 100 of these, our center, with all the different practitioners and the people involved, that this has been something that we've, getting it out into the community. So that has been creating more financial stability at Santa Fe Soul, because part of the proceeds from that have gone into not only buying 9 mats, we have actually been able to pay off the mats, so Santa Fe Soul now owns them. I would like to see practitioners of chiropractic, naturopathic, massage therapists, osteopathic practitioners. Actually, in Santa Fe, all of these people now own and are using this technology in their practices day to day. Dr. Carmichael uses it on every single patient, even before he does his adjustment. If he gets their blood moving, if there's better circulation, if there's more mobility in the spine, the adjustments tend to hold. We are a family of 4. I have 2 young children and my husband, and we pay, our insurance premium is $1,000, almost $1,100 a month. And now we're questioning with just how our health has been upgraded since we've been using the technology. Do we really need to keep that policy? The average child has 8 colds a year. I've seen our kids are very, very healthy, but just to see that, for me personally, I used to get sinus headaches and sinus infections. That was my weakness. I find that I'm not prone to them anymore, especially the longer that I've used this. But overall, I think then people are realizing that we can work with a technology that's going to help us stay well, that we don't have to be so dependent on going for an antibiotic. We don't even have to go there.